How to set boundaries with clients. It's difficult, but it's really important. Just because someone is paying you doesn't mean they have access to you 24/7. I've got decades of experience managing clients, so in this video, I'm going to share some scripts for you to use. You'll be happy you watched this. Let's get started. I'm Phil Pallen, a brand strategist. Welcome to my channel where I share practical advice to build your brand. Today I'm in St. Malo, France, and today's video is an important one: setting boundaries. Listen, working with clients can be incredible. Without clients, I wouldn't have a business. I wouldn't have the freedom to have a business from wherever I choose. Today I'm in France, or if you've seen any of my other videos, you know locations can sometimes include Mexico, Colombia, Brazil, Peru, or Turkey, for example. With anything involving service, working with clients can come with some very uncomfortable moments. Your job is to satisfy your client, but, for example, when the person who's paying you for work expects 24/7 access, setting boundaries can be difficult. Lucky for you, I have nearly a decade of experience managing clients, and I'm about to share my go-to scripts for setting boundaries and, if necessary, parting ways. You can use these templates as a starting point. I'll read the scripts out loud in this video, but know that I've got them written out in a blog post, which I'll link to below in case you want to copy and paste these as a starting point. So let's start with the first script. Script number 1 for correspondence. When a client is requiring more correspondence time than you expected. First, use a time tracking software or system like EverHour. That's what I use, so you can update your client on time as you go through your project. I like to update my clients at the 50, 75, 90, and 100% marks. And here's how you can update them. Say something like, "Hi there, as a heads up, we're at 50% of our dedicated time for correspondence. Normally at this phase of the project would be at 25%. We've had some great collaborative conversations so far, and I don't want you to feel limited by the amount of time we budgeted. So would you feel better adding some extra time to our account management budget so you don't feel rushed?" Now, this script is assuming you're billing for your time, which you should in the format of a retainer or some other way. My business has iterated in a lot of different ways, but tracking and billing for time, hands down, has worked the best for me. Whatever method you choose, make sure your time is being accounted for. So that's the first script, when correspondence time is taking longer than expected. Script number 2. Giving your phone number. When a client asks you for your mobile phone number and you'd prefer not to share it, this is the script for you. But first, I recommend getting a Google Voice number, but don't connect it to your phone. That would defeat the purpose of what we're about to do. You can set up email notifications anytime a client tries to call or text you. Your client is happy because they feel like they're texting you, and you're happy because you aren't getting their texts on your personal number. Once you give that personal number, yikes, you're leaving yourself open to text late at night, early in the morning, or even on weekends, and I've learned that one the hard way. Nowadays, my clients do not get my personal phone number. Now, if you're not up for using Google Voice, then you can use the following script. Something like, "It's better for me if we stick with email. My client workflow happens through my inbox, so this way I won't drop the ball on any requests." See what I did there? I made it about you, or made it about me in this case. Your ability to do an amazing job for them. Not the fact that you don't want to hear from them when you're not working, which in all reality is probably part of the equation, but you can still keep it really positive and professional. So that's what you do when you want to avoid giving your personal phone number. Let's keep going. Script number 3, when a client requests a call that you don't think is necessary. Just because they're asking for a call doesn't mean you're held to actually doing it. I, for one, actively guard my time on the phone. Phone calls completely disrupt my flow and focus from deep concentration projects like websites or content creation. So I try and keep them as intentional as possible. And I only do phone calls 2 days a week, Tuesday and Thursday. So if you're looking for a script for this instance, I have a few options for you. You could try something like this. "Email is better for me this week. Would it be possible to send over your questions here? I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So that's one. Or here's another angle that's slightly different. I wish I could jump on a call, but I'm booked up solid for the next 2 weeks. If it's urgent, feel free to email me. Otherwise, let's add this as an agenda item on your next call. Assuming you've got an upcoming call with them on the calendar. They might think that it can't wait until then, but you probably know it can. If it can't wait, they can email you. If those scripts don't feel quite right for the situation that you're in, don't worry. I've got one more that you can try out, and I love this one. Here it is. I appreciate you bringing this to my attention. Since this topic has a lot of details, let's stick with email so we've got a written record and nothing gets missed. There, a few ideas to handle when getting on the phone is not necessary or worth your time. I've got 2 more scripts for you. The next one is if a client texts you on the weekend. Script number 4, the weekend text. I told you not to give your personal phone number, but if it's too late and the deed has already been done, you need this script. And even before a script, we need an action, or in this case, no action. Do not respond to them unless it's an emergency. Don't do it. Once you respond to a client on a weekend, a boundary has been crossed forever, and it's very tough to get that back. After the weekend is over, you can text the following. Something like, hope you had a nice weekend. Let's keep work correspondence to email. I'll get back to you about this request later today. Talk soon. So that one's firm because we need to be clear about boundaries and expectations. It's still professional and suitable for the situation. Okay, last script. Script number 5. When it's time to part ways. Time to end your working relationship, which could be for a number of reasons, creative differences or conflicting working styles, for example. When you know it's time to head in different directions, here's the script that I use. Ready? Our working relationship means a lot to me, and I'm really proud of the work that we've done together. Keep it positive. However, it seems like there's a lack of trust between both parties, causing some friction. It's rare for me to experience this. Many revision requests, for example, and I'm not sure that more revisions will help us get on the same page. In full transparency, I think it might be time for us to make a plan to part ways. What do you think? Okay, let's unpack that. That turns it into a discussion while making your stance very clear. Obviously, you can modify the language in this case. In the example that I gave you, if trust or revisions aren't the issue, this is just an example. You can take it and modify it accordingly. I realize having these scripts in text form is probably more useful, so I've turned this into a blog post for you, as I mentioned at the top of the video. The link is in the description below. Definitely check out that post. Finally, if you're still evaluating whether or not it's time to fire a client, I've got a recent podcast episode for you tackling this tough topic. My colleague and co-host Lauren and I share our techniques for deciding when it's time to fire a client. Evaluating whether or not it's a good fit and understanding how to articulate that there are boundaries. Boundaries are necessary for your sanity. Our podcast is called Brand Therapy. This episode is 137, and it's linked below as well. Remember, you can draw boundaries while still keeping a positive relationship with your client. In fact, drawing boundaries can often preserve your relationship with a client. Just stay positive, collaborative, and factual, and you'll be setting yourself up for long-term success. If you've got any lingering questions, comment below. Let's keep the conversation going on down there. I respond to those comments personally. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. That helps other people discover these videos, which we work hard to create for you every single week. And subscribe for more of my videos on branding, positioning, building, and promoting your brand. Next, I'm sharing through a few videos that I think you'll be interested. I've hand-selected them for you. I'm Phil Pallen. Thanks for watching, and those videos are coming up next.